Hey everybody, Doug A798 here. This is the second part of my Batman movie review series. This time, of course, I'm talking about Christopher Nolan's Batman series. Of course, after the box office disappointment and negative reception of Batman and Robin, Batman Triumphant, which was the supposed sequel for Batman and Robin, never happened. And after several more years, Nolan was brought on and he rebooted it with Batman Begins. When I first saw Batman Begins in 2005, I actually enjoyed it. Um I actually enjoyed it. After watching several of Movie World Express's Christopher Nolan Batman rants, I started to hate it. And while I enjoyed it in 2005, I really didn't think the movie was all that special, and I didn't think the movie held a candle to the very first four Batman movies. But this was still an entertaining movie. My favorite thing about this movie was using one of my favorite bad guys, Ra's al Ghul. I didn't like Nolan infusing Ra's al Ghul and Henry Ducard, a character from I think the Dennis O'Neil Batman, fusing those two characters who are from two totally different universes, Batman universes, and have nothing to do with each other. I didn't like him fusing them into one character, but I thought this was a decent, entertaining film. I think it's overhyped and overrated, but it was still a decent, entertaining film. Film. The the next film, The Dark Knight. Okay, The Dark Knight. I think The Dark Knight is one of the most overrated, crappy films of all time. But I just watched the trilogy again for these reviews, and the film is actually decent. My problem with this film, this is also a problem I have with the last one too, is that this film has too many, in my opinion, too many talking scenes. It's too long. There's way too much filler, and there's way too much scenes I don't care about. Um, there's also bad dialogue, like that line about the hockey pads. And in the first film, that line when Batman busts out of nowhere and he sees that homeless guy, he says, "Nice coat." They're crappy lines. That's a good thing in my opinion. That's a bad thing. Um, my favorite things about Dark Knight, of course, are Heath Ledger as the Joker. He was awesome as the Joker. However, I thought his Joker was one dimensional and really had no purpose in this show. I just thought he was just a random serial killer and a psychopath. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. And I also like Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent, Two-Face. I thought Eckhart's talents, just like Heath Ledger's, were underutilized in this film, but Harvey Dent was actually pretty awesome as Two-Face. I actually thought the story really wasn't that good. The whole story pretty much was the entire the Joker is causing mayhem, running amok, and the entire police department and Batman just can't seem to find him. Batman even needed help from Lucius Fox. That right there, I didn't like that. Batman's a good detective. He's capable of finding anyone. He has never been able to there's never really been a bad guy, especially Joker. There's never been a time where he couldn't catch the Joker. And then, of course, I also didn't like that whole subplot about him kidnapping Lau. I also didn't like that other pointless subplot about um Commissioner Gordon faking his death. I also didn't like that I also didn't like that whole crap. The end was absolutely terrible. The movie was awesome for pretty much all the way up until Joker was captured. After that, in my opinion, the movie went downhill, and it just says screw the rules and just random stuff. In my opinion, just started happening, and I just thought that was terrible. The Dark Knight Rises. Tell you the truth, after sort of being disappointed with the first two films, I didn't expect much from The Dark Knight Rises, and since I didn't expect much from The Dark Knight Rises, I actually enjoyed The Dark Knight Rises. I thought this was, while not being an awesome Batman film as a Batman film, this was hit and miss. This was hit and miss. But as an action military film, this was actually pretty good from Nolan. I cared more about the characters in this series, and Tom Hardy, while I thought that this characterization of Bane was terrible. It wasn't Bane, it was just a strong guy. I thought Tom Hardy was an awesome villain. This supposed characterization of Bane reminds me of more of the Lord Humongous from Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, Darth Vader from Star Wars, and Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe than Bane. Bane was just a local criminal in Gotham who wanted to break the bat and make him feel inferior. He had nothing to do with terrorism and world domination. But I thought this was a pretty good film. And one thing I also love about this film is I was more entertained in this film. This film, in my opinion, while still being long, it moved much faster. And the action sequences, in my opinion, were way better than what they were in the first film. Batman actually looked like a martial artist in this a fighter in this film, whereas in the first one he looks like some random street guy fighting in the first two films. First two were too realistic. But yeah, but this was my sort of rant and review on the Christopher Nolan series. I'm kind of glad these are over and they're starting everything up. They're trying to reboot Batman a different way because in my opinion these were decent films, but they really weren't anything special as a whole. They really weren't anything special, and they prolonged the future Justice League movies. And they kind of ruined the Batman and DC animated universe, the Batman and DC universe. That's my opinion. All right, Doug out.